Okay, so sometimes I'm not quite sure what I want to do a video on. Like I'm either inspired to do something because it's like current content. Like there's a movie out or a TV show or something, that I'm watching and I want to talk about. So I will do the video on that. A lot of times I'm looking at older material. So I'm looking at movies, stuff that I'm collecting in my personal collection, or a new 4K or Criterion has come out and I want to talk about it. And then sometimes just pure inspiration hits me. Like the other night. The other night I'm watching, I think I'm just flipping through cable, whatever channel I go through, and there's Con Air. And it was probably I think it was probably 10 minutes into it. I didn't get to see when Cameron Poe Nicolas Cage got into the fight that got him into prison. I just saw when he was being transferred to the prison thing. Anyway, I'm going to get into Con Air. I want to talk about this movie because the fact that I left it on and felt suddenly oh man, I haven't seen this in a long time. Let me watch it. I was like, all right, I'm going to watch it. And I watched it straight through and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do an episode on That Guy Talks. So That Guy's about to talk Con Air next. Hey, welcome to That Guy Talks Movies. I am That Guy Talking Movies, and this is my channel where I discuss movies and TV and streaming stuff and collecting 4K content and all those wonderful stuff. So if that's also you and you're into that and you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I really appreciate you doing it. And for those of you who've already subscribed, who keep up with my content, I appreciate you. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for sticking with me. All right, Con Air. 1997, I believe. It was that time when Nicolas Cage was kind of like the thing for a minute. He was like the Stallone and Schwarzenegger of action flicks. And he did, I think he did 3 in a row. He did The Rock, which I love The Rock. Okay, that one just works for me. The Rock, Con Air, and what was the other one? The one David Travolta, Face Off. All right, so he did these 3 action-oriented flicks within a year, 2-year time frame, 96, 97, somewhere around that time frame. Con Air. I actually own Con Air on DVD somewhere. I don't have a 4K of it. I don't know. Did they make a 4K? Did they make a special version of that? Is it worthy of a special version? But anyway, I own the DVD somewhere. It's probably in storage, whatever. But I do have it. And it's one of those films that is absurdly ridiculous at its premise. At the heart of it, it's just dumb. But, I mean, let's think about it. I mean, how many Fast and Furiously Fast movies are there? And a lot of them are pretty freaking dumb at their core, right? But we don't really go there for the substance and the real, the plot and the subplot and the subtext and the thematic things that are happening and the wonderful written dialogue. We go to see cars and shit blowing up and whatever. They've turned into Mission Impossible movies now. But point is, Con Air is in that realm of 90s flicks, action flick, Nicolas Cage flick, where you've got a bunch of dumb shit happening, a bunch of really bad one-liners and things happening, but it's satisfying on some level, isn't it? Let me just be really frank. I'm not a Nicolas Cage fan at all, other than Raising Arizona and Moonstruck. Those are probably the only 2 Cage flicks that I can honestly say I enjoyed. I didn't even see Leaving Las Vegas. I don't know. Was that good? Was that bad? I don't know. I didn't see Leaving Las Vegas. I didn't see a lot of his films. Ghost Rider, all these crazy flicks he's done. I didn't see most of these. I think I saw the adaptation, which wasn't terrible, but I don't even remember it. So anyway, not a big Nicolas Cage fan. Just put that out there. And in this movie, he's so bad in this movie. This movie kind of reminds me, when I was watching it the other night, I immediately thought of Tropic Thunder. I thought of, Tayback. I thought of Ben Stiller's performance as an actor playing Sergeant Tayback in the movie, and the over dramatized way the acting stands out. It sticks out like a sore thumb, because it's a movie. It's parodying other films. It's it's a shtick kind of thing. And this performance by Nicolas Cage in Con Air, it feels just like that. It feels like an actor who is aware of the camera, who is poking fun of other action films. If that makes sense. I don't know. Go with me on that one if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's so fucking bad. And then his accent. He plays, let me just get into plot really quick for those of you who may not seen this. I don't want to spoil anything, but he plays a guy, an honorably discharged veteran guy, who gets into a fight one night while he's out with his wife having a good time. And he gets into a fight, and he winds up killing one of the guys because he's got like lethal hands, and he kills one of the dudes. So he winds up going to do like a prison term. And then he's getting out, and he's going to go back to his wife and see the daughter that he's never met because, she got pregnant while he was inside, whatever. Not by someone else, by him, apparently. So he's essentially like paroled and like going home. And he hitches a ride on a plane, a prison plane that happens to be transporting a bunch of the hardest, the most depraved criminals. And they're all getting on this one plane and they're being transported to some other prison. So that's like the premise of the movie. The plane winds up the prisoners on the plane wind up taking the plane over. They hijack this plane and they've got their own plans of what they're going to do. And this poor guy, Cameron Poe, is stuck on that plane with them. And of course, he's a good guy. So he doesn't want to be stuck there. He's got no reason to be with these hardened criminals. He's just trying to get home, right, after doing his bid. So that's the premise for the movie, and it just becomes something. It just becomes a silly connection of these different action sequences put together with like really bad lines. And again, this Nicolas Cage's terrible, like, I don't know if that's like a southern accent thing he does. Why couldn't you just put the bunny down? The lines are stupid. Like there's some shit with the bunny and the fighting. But I will say, good cast of characters here. Good supporting cast. We've got some notables in here. You got John Malkovich playing Cyrus, the virus. He's like the main guy. He's like the bad guy leader. It's John Malkovich. John Malkovich, just by nature, especially if you shave his head and give him a goatee, he's just a badass. The way he sounds, the way he looks, his deadpan whole fucking thing. It's John Malkovich. So he plays the main badass guy. Then you've got notables like Steve Buscemi, who plays like this sort of Hannibal Lecter kind of dude that's like chained up and in mask and shit because he's killed like 30 or 40 people up and down the East Coast, and he's done like he's just a nutcase. You've got Danny Trejo is in this as like a rapist. Johnny 23, call me Johnny 200 if they knew the truth. He's like raped a bunch of women and he's super proud of it, and he wants to rape Rachel Ticotin from Total Recall. She's in this as one of the officers on the plane, one of the marshals on the plane. You've got Dave Chappelle is in this. I forgot Dave Chappelle was in this movie. I literally forgot Chappelle was. As soon as I saw him, I started cracking up, and he's fucking hysterical in this movie. Chappelle has always been Chappelle. He adds a certain dimension to everything he's in, and I almost forgot he plays pinball. And I'm trying to imagine. I don't know if they said it. I might have just forgotten like what heinous thing he did to get on that plane, because I can't imagine him doing anything fucking heinous. Who else? Ving Rhames. Diamond Dog is in this. He does his thing. You got a bunch of notables in this. John Cusack and Colm Meaney are like the good guys. So John Cusack plays a U.S. Marshal who's in charge of the plane. It's like his plane. It's like his baby that he uses to transfer prisoners. And Colm Meaney plays a DEA agent that's getting one of his guys on a plane. They got some special plan. They're gonna make sure that they get information from some other guy on the plane. Whatever. That whole thing goes wrong. But Colm Meaney, while he's on the good, he's on the DEA side. He's a bit of a dick. So him and John Cusack don't get along. Where the hell is John Cusack, by the way? I was watching this the other night, and I'm like, what the hell happened to John Cusack? I don't know. Someone tell me. Anyway, it's one of those films where it's what I consider it a guilty pleasure film. It's one of those things where it's a bad movie, but you enjoy watching it anyway. And I've seen it. Like I said, I own the damn DVD. I must have seen it at least 10, 15 times. I've watched Con Air. I guess it's because it is, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's a movie that was shot for $75 million and they ended up doing $245 million at the box office. So they did their job. It's entertaining. It's got its moments. The ending of it is ridiculous. They crash land the plane into Las Vegas Strip, and it goes in and there's a whole long, extended, overdone chase scene between Nicolas Cage's character and getting John Malkovich, the bad guy. And it's got to be this crazy, brutal death the way he dies. And it's a mess. But, like I said, it is satisfying on some level. It's a guilty pleasure. We like this movie. So anyway, I just want to talk about Con Air because I did watch it the other night. Call it a totally random video, but I wanted to talk about it. Let me know what you thought of Con Air. If you've seen Con Air recently, are you a Con Air fan? Is there a Con Air 4K? Is there a Con Air fan club? I don't know. Are you a Nicolas Cage fan? Are you a guilty pleasure movie fan? A guy who's got, somebody who's got like a ton of movies that are just kind of like bad, but they're enjoyable in some way, right? Name some of those movies for me. Go ahead in the comments below. Let me know what you think about Con Air. Let me know if it sucked or if it's a movie you've never seen and I spoiled it for you. Go ahead, go back and watch. You know what? I can't even spoil it. Because if you've never seen it and you made it to this part in the video and I've given a few things away, which I really didn't, but if you were to go watch it right now, you would enjoy it the same way. You'd still get the same guilty pleasure thrills that I'm talking about in this video. You'd still feel like, okay, that was somewhat entertaining. That's it for me. That Guy Talks Movies, talking Con Air. Again, in the comments below, let me know what you think about it. If you haven't subscribed, now will be the time. Hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate that. And again, thank you to the people who have stuck with me. I will see you on the next one.